Friends, welcome back to Slaying the Craft, the show where we go inside the mind of a thriller writer. I'm your host, Sabrina Thatcher. I am a writer, a reader, a podcaster, book coach, basically just an all around fanatic of the mystery and thriller genre. So I am here to talk to you today all about that. And I'm excited because today's guest is me. I figured that maybe once or twice a season, we'll give it a shot of me just coming in here and having a bit of a chatty conversation with you. And if that's something you guys enjoy, awesome. And if not, then we'll just stick with the interviews. But I thought that because this is the first episode of season 2, and life last year and while I was trying to launch this for season 1 was rough. So I thought what I would do is just do a little like recap. Here's kind of where I've been, what's going on. And then we'll go into kind of like where things are going with my own writing and with book coaching, things that I may be able to be able to be of support of people. I've got a really fun webinar coming up that I'm very excited to launch that I'm going to tell you about, as well as a couple of resources that you might want for your own if you're doing research or just trying to understand and learn the craft. So anyway, let's get into it. Okay, first of all, you can see I'm in a whole new setting. Hey! These are some of my lovely mystery thriller books. I'm so excited. I am in a new apartment. I've moved from Phoenix to Seattle, and I'm back to where I love to be. Really super long story, but basically grew up in Arizona, moved in my late 20s to Seattle, lived here for about 12 years. 2 years ago, moved home back to Arizona to take care of my mom, who was passing away from younger onset Alzheimer's. She passed this July, which was like right around when I launched this podcast. And then things got a little bit crazy and life sort of just went off the rails. And so I am in a completely starting over phase of my life where I am living alone for the first time in my entire adult life. I am living in a new city. Well, it's a return to the city, but I'm back in a place where I love to be, being in the Pacific Northwest. It's incredible here. It's the best vibes. The other day, it was so cool. It was the first time I've done this in so long, but I had a day where I recorded an episode that you'll see coming up. And then afterwards, I had lunch with a writer friend that I met at Masterclass at Thriller Fest. And then after that, then I had coffee with a friend that I also know and a book coach that I know from Thriller Fest as well. So it was super cool. I feel like I'm getting back into my life, into my community. And so I'm really excited about that. So that's kind of like what's been going on with me. So writing has definitely been on the back burner for me, with a lot of the things that are going on in my personal life this year and the move and trying to get book coaching business started, Crime and Quill, all of these things, trying to figure out what am I doing. And then also kind of like recovering with grief and dealing with the grief of a lot of losses that happened in the last year. So writing really just took a back burner. And I honestly, I had a really hard time with this for a while because I felt like I said I'm a writer. I love to read. I like have kind of partially identify myself as these things, that these are part of who I am. And I'm not doing them anymore. So you always hear those things around, if you're a writer, you write every day, or you're going to write through it, and you write despite any of the hardships that are coming, and you write through all of these things and blah, blah, blah. And the truth is, I think if you need to hear somebody give you permission to say, it's okay for you to not write right now, that's me. I'm giving you that permission. And it is okay, because for some people, writing is the cathartic way that they are processing through something. And they need to do that right in that moment. But if you're somebody who's like, you're just white knuckling it through life right now, and you're just like, I don't know that I have anything to give to this book, it's okay. It's okay, because guess what? Your story is still going to be waiting for you when you're ready again. And you will be ready again, because life does this, right? And no matter what is going on, it's going to come back. So I was really struggling, like I said, about this, because I felt like, well, if I'm not writing every day, I'm not a real writer. If I'm not working on my book, if I'm not constantly thinking about it, if I haven't completed a short story, I haven't completed this. I wrote one novel that I queried, and then I've been working on the second novel for 2 years and I like can't even look at it anymore. And then I started having another idea for a novel. And I feel like all these unfinished pieces. And it's, I think it's like, I'm saying this to myself as much as I'm saying it to anybody else. It's okay. It's okay. It is okay. Life happens. The world is harsh right now. There are bigger things that are going on than your story. But if that is the way that you process, like, good for you. But if you are somebody who doesn't process that way and just kind of like needs to hold on just to get through before they can come out of something, been there. I'm there with you. We can get through it together. 2026 is going to be the year that we are finishing our books and we are going out there and we're chasing the dream. That's what's happening for this year. And I believe in you and I believe in me, and I think that we can absolutely do this. Anyway, I'll get off my little high horse there. So while I have been a little bit on the back burner of that, and with my book coaching business and kind of just life in general, like I was saying, tons of things going on. I'm kind of into a place now where I'm like, all right, I'm taking my mom's my favorite advice my mom ever gave me was, it's time to pull up your big girl panties and get on with it. So that's what I'm doing. So we are moving forward, and I hope you enjoyed season 1, but I think season 2 is going to be even better. And I've got lots of fun stuff coming. If you are a reader looking to become a mystery thriller writer, or if you already are a mystery thriller writer and you just want to hone your craft, I've got some really fun things coming up. So the first thing is, I'm so excited, but on Thursday, March 12th, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, I am going to host a free webinar called Misdirection in Mystery, the Magic of Misdirection in Mysteries. And what we'll be looking at is how magician techniques can be used as a mystery thriller writer when you are doing different things, like, there's a lot of sleight of hand, there's some psychology, there's all kinds of fun things in that. So we're going to be talking about that. What are some different techniques that you can use from studying? We're also going to go into some deep case studies. So there will be a list of books that will be very spoiled. This is going to be a very, very spoiler heavy craft session, but it's because this is the craft. This is the dark and the twisted. And how are we messing with people's heads when we're writing, and not confusing, but like, misdirecting the reader, which is why it's called misdirections. So anyway, so that's going to be happening on March 12th. You can register. Like I said, it's free. You can register on crimeandquill.com. You can just like go down there and we'll see you there. I'm so excited to share that in addition to that free webinar, I am also offering manuscript assessments and one-on-one coaching, book coaching. That's really developmental editing. So what that means is that if you've already written a manuscript and you need somebody to take a look at it, you need a professional who understands the craft, who understands the genre and the genre expectations. I can read that for you, give you an editorial letter, just the same as you would get if you go searching and you say developmental editor. It's the exact same kind of thing. You're getting the exact same sort of work. The difference with the book coach is that I'm also trained to think about you as the writer and how we're getting to the story, and also brainstorming and really making sure that you feel like you're supported and you're getting through the story that you want to tell. There's also a project management aspect. So if you want to do one-on-one book coaching, or if you need to have help with accountability, you need someone just to be there to say, hey, did you write this week? Send me your words. Those are things that I can do. And a lot of that comes from like past experience as a project manager in a corporate world. And I also did nonprofit, like event fundraising and stuff. So I've done like a lot of different kinds of things when it comes to coaching. And I'm really excited to be able to apply all of that experience that I have to the mystery thriller genre and for writing these books. I'm just it's so amazing. So anyway, and the reason why you would want to do this, just as like as FYI, if you're like a newer writer and you're like, why would anyone want a manuscript assessment? Here's why. One, depending on how you're trying to get published, it doesn't even actually matter how you're trying to get published. You need someone else to read your book, period. Someone else needs to read it that's not you, that is able to say, here is what is working, what's not working. Here's what makes sense to me, what doesn't make sense, because you as the writer, you know everything already. And you will miss all of the little things because that's just what we do. It's just human nature. It just happens. So you want somebody who's going to read your novel for you. And if you have someone who is an expert in the genre, hey, all the better, right? So then we can work on how we can actually make sure that your characters work, the structure works, all of the pacing, the twists, the clues, all of the fun stuff. So those are things that I can do to help, and I would love to be able to like find somebody and work with people, and then one day be able to have their book on my shelf. That's my goal. I want to see your book on my shelf. That is the goal. So anyway, so I'm happy to do that, and also it kind of help to take the sting out of writing alone, because especially as a newer writer, it's a lot. But if you've got someone who's like able to brainstorm or knows your story, or is able to just be like, you know, you can send a message, hey, I was thinking this idea, what do you think? Okay, let's talk about it, right? Like, let's have a brainstorm and talk through what that means. But you can't do that with someone who doesn't know the intimate details of your story, right? So that's one of the great things about having a book coach, is that I would then also know the intimate details of your story and be a sounding board. So anyway, those are some of the benefits of it if you are interested. So again, you can check out crimeandquill.com to book your free 30-minute consultation, which basically is just, let's just sit together and talk about your book, where you're at, what's your goal, what are your goals, what that kind of thing. And then we'll see like where it makes sense for us to work together. Again, crimeandquill.com. You can also check us out on Instagram at crimeandquill. So couple more things that are coming up. One, have a new Substack that is coming out. That is going to be released on Tuesdays. In the Substack, you will also, not only will we be talking about different like things that are coming up, but you know, previews for the Thursday episode of Slaying the Craft, and like some other like fun chatty writing things, but resources will be a huge piece of it, and new releases. So I plan to highlight every newsletter every week. It's going to be coming out on Tuesdays. To highlight the new books that are coming out for the week. So if you are wanting to stay on top of the newest mystery thrillers that are being released, not just from the Trad Publishing, but kind of across the board, I'm working to try to gather as much as I can. That's kind of where I'm like hoping to be able to put that information. I'm not hoping to, I am. That information is going to be in those, in that newsletter. You can see that also. You can find that on crimeandquill.com, or go to Substack /crimeandquill. Okay, so today I did want to show you 3 resources that I think are super, super helpful, and that I keep going back to in my own writing that I've been doing. And I think you've probably heard from most of these, probably, but I love them, and there's a reason why people talk about them all the time. So first one up is Save the Cat Writes a Novel. You can see I even have some parts of it bookmarked. The reason why I like this book a lot is because if you have never written a single thing of fiction, or you don't know anything at all about storytelling, which I will say before January 2022, I knew nothing. That's when I started my journey of learning how to write and what it actually takes to make a story come together, that kind of thing. And this book really kind of puts that together. I didn't know what beats were, and now I do. I have a much better grasp of things, and it's thanks in large part to this novel, and of course the training from Author Accelerator, and my own education and that kind of stuff. Anyway, whatever. But the point is, if you don't know anything about writing at all, and you don't know anything about storytelling, read Save the Cat Writes a Novel. This is a great, great starting point for you. The next one that I really love is Story Genius by Lisa Cron. So this book really talks about the impacts of outlining and really thinking about the psychology of your story. So I love this book as well. If you haven't read it, I do recommend this too. And then finally, last but not least, is Consider This by Chuck Palahniuk. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this book, but I really, really liked it. It has moments in my writing life after which everything was different. And I think that he has some really practical advice that I've seen after I've read this book. I've seen that those things in other books. And so it's so fascinating to me. But he's more like a darker literary thriller or darker literary writer. But I think that what you get out of him is these incredibly rich, crazy stories, and we're all about the dark and twisted, right? So what's this guy thinking? So anyway, I really enjoyed this because we get a lot of, again, practical advice. He has this thing where he says it's like kitchen table MFA, which is amazing because it really is about these there's these tiny little tips in here that you never really noticed, or I've never noticed or thought about before. So anyway, Chuck Palahniuk's Consider This, definitely recommend. that's just a little bit about what's been going on in my world. I would love to hear from you and what's going on in your world. How is your writing going? What kind of stories are you coming up with? What's the latest twist that you've had that you just like, what? That was bananas. I can't wait to hear about it. I hope that you stick around for the rest of season 2. We've got lots of really fun things coming. We have special guests like Vanessa Lilly, Tessa Wager, and Andy Pliego coming up. I am going to a lot of conference mystery thriller conferences this year. I'm going to Creepy Book Club Retreat in a couple of weeks, Left Coast Crime, Thriller Fest, Montreal Mystery, BoucherCon in Calgary this year. So there's lots of really fun events that are happening. So I hope I get a chance to see you guys there. And if not, I'll still be talking about it here on the podcast, so you know what kind of great little tidbits we learned at these conferences that we can pass along. Anyway, until next time, my friends, stay sharp and right twisted. We'll see you soon. Bye.